There are so many questions in homeschooling. Daily schedule, weekly schedule, monthly schedule. Shall we learn with books, digital media? Shall we learn with life experiences? What about self-learning versus teaching? So if you are mom or dad thinking about homeschooling, this video might be interesting for you. Hello, my name is Marion. I'm an educationalist, and with an experience of 20 years in education, I'd like to help parents and educators to guide their children to manifest their full potential. You must be really serious about homeschooling if you're still around listening to this video, as you know already what is expecting you. So today I'd like to share you some ideas, some information on the different topics that I mentioned in the beginning. Please do remember to subscribe to our channel and click the bell button so that whenever we put something online, you will be informed. So let's go into the topic. I'd like to give you 3 ideas today on the homeschooling topic. And today I'd like to focus on methodologies. So let's start with the beginning. Let's say you are here. This is your beginning point. So you are thinking about homeschooling. You know the quality of your child. You know what your child is able to do. So you think about homeschooling. You know about the abilities of your child. You know the curriculum of the school. So now the question is, how do you get from here to here? Here you find the target. This is what you want to reach. So let's say this is the beginning of the year. This is the end of the year. This is where your child starts. This is what your child has to complete in this 1 year. And now the important part is not where your child starts. It's also not the target where your child should get. It is in between. This here. This is the important question. And the important question is, how? How will my child reach from where it is at the present moment to the target that it needs to complete at the end of the year to go on with their studies into the next classroom? And this how is called in education methodology. And so this is what we will speak about. How can we get from here to there? When it comes to the how, there are so many different opportunities on how you could get from one point to the other point. There's so many different methodologies how you can study a topic. So let's just focus on the 3 basics so that you can start to discuss and decide with your child what to use. In general, we recommend not to make a decision for your child, but rather have participation. Now it's of course a question how old your child is. If your child is 3 or 4 years old, they can already participate in the decision on how they would like to learn a certain topic. If your child is 2 years old, may not yet be able. So what you do in that case is, it's important that you observe which of the methodologies is the easiest for your child to understand and to develop a skill, and this is what it is about. In the beginning, it's also important for me to forewarn you about one thing that many parents are not having in their mind. Too many parents focus very much on the target, but learning is not about reaching a certain target. If we are only focusing on learning a target, means knowing these numbers, knowing these letters, then it's only intellectual development. There is no skill training, there is no life training, there are no life skills, no soft skills, and no knowledge skills built for your child's adult life. What is important is that knowledge is understood in such a way that it becomes a skill. Let's speak about that. Knowledge is not important. We have Dr. Google, we have so many digital medias around us, we have so much knowledge available. So there is no need to really study or learn something and know something by mind anymore. So if we are only knowing, that is not really helping us in life. Today's life is more about skills. So also in homeschooling, it is really important that we focus on skills, developing skills, giving our children tools and possibilities to carry something with them in life. So it's very important that you ask the question yourself. What are important skills that you would like your child to take with them in life? So now think about life. Think about the practicality of life, what is really needed, which skills we should have and what we should be able to do. This is an idea I give you from the viewpoint of TLI pedagogics because our focus is diverted away from knowledge training. It is going towards a holistic understanding of education. Okay, let's go ahead and speak about the first point. So what is the best how in regard to the schedule? So you can have a daily schedule. So you can fix 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour a day. There is a certain subject to study. Or you could have a weekly schedule. You could say this 1 week, we only study this one topic. Or you can have a monthly schedule. In a monthly schedule, it is really recommended that you connect those topics which are interconnected by themselves. So think about it. Do you want to have a daily, a weekly, or a monthly schedule? What does it mean to have a daily schedule? When you have a daily schedule, you can have a fixed time. Let's say from 9 to 11 is the study time for your child. If you like this idea of a fixed time, even if you don't go to a daily subject study, you can include this idea in the schedules below. You can say, I have a weekly schedule, but every day from 9 to 11, my child is studying this topic. I'll have a monthly schedule, but every day from the time 9 to 11, my child is studying the topic. When you decide on the time, depending on the age, you might also ask your child what time is the best. You could also have a divided schedule, which is from 9 to 10:30 and then again from 2 to 3 or 2 to 4. This is one how you can do it. Let's speak about the weekly schedule. So you have a weekly schedule which normally goes from Monday to Friday. You still can have the time which is fixed in these days so that your child knows this is study time, this is play time. You can decide on a subject. And you can decide to really study this subject very deeply for 1 week. So maybe about tigers. So for 1 week, you're studying everything about tigers. So you're studying how they look, how they feel, how they walk, where they live, what is the temperature where they live, how to write the word tiger, how to speak the word tiger, what's the name of a baby tiger, what's the name of a female, a male tiger. So you can study everything around them. You have some language development, you learn new words, new terminologies, you learn about biology, you learn about geography, you learn about writing. Children need to read to understand it. So this would be the approach that we highly recommend. Now this weekly schedule can also be stretched and extended to a monthly schedule. When you have a monthly schedule, it still is from Monday to Friday. It still includes the time that you fix. But then, what is important to know, it is a more project-wise learning. When it comes to a monthly topic, you really should interconnect it like a project. So see that everything is connected with that one topic, that all of the different subjects your child has to learn are connected and are a part of that. So you can have reading, writing, counting, math, mathematical ideas. You can have colors, shapes, everything connected to this. What it is doing, it creates a very different way of study and learning for your child. The daily schedule would be a subject-wise schedule. The interconnection is not possible in the daily schedule. What means that you really only do reading. Next day you can do writing. Next day you can do colors. Next day you can do letters, whatever you want to do. Next day you can do math, all of that. So in our recommendation, how the brain of children work, we really do not recommend this way of learning. Subject-wise learning means we put boxes in the brain of the child. And then is the question if they are able to connect it. The weekly or monthly schedule is way more practical. It's a practical approach. It's an approach that includes a lot of play, a lot of fun, and when play and fun is there, it's easy to learn for children. So this is one of the how. So if you go for weekly, if you go for monthly, surely is on one hand the question if you're having a teacher-wise curriculum or if you have a self-centered learning curriculum. We'll speak about this a little later. Please do not forget to subscribe to the channel, share it with all people you think they might be interested in this knowledge. And also please click the bell, the notification bell, because then whenever we put something online, you will be automatically informed and know about it. Next topic on how is the question on how and what material to use when you study and learn. So today we'll like to focus on books, digital media, as well as life experiences. 3 different, very different things. Books is sometimes called the old school. You remember you had them already, I had them, we all had them, grandma had them. So books are one way that you get in touch with information. When it comes to books, we recommend that children should use the books by themselves. It's okay to also do storytelling and reading from the books, but when it comes to study, the recommendation would be that children should use the books themselves. They should find something. And here I'd like to tell you a story. There was this one man and he wanted to understand about ice and glacier and all of that. And so there was this young boy and he wanted to understand about glacier and ice and how it comes along. So as no one told him, he went to the room where all of the books have been in the library and he took out the first book where he thought he could find something about it. So he found in a physics book something about ice, and he learned that ice melts and becomes water, and when you water heat then it becomes steam. So he learned a concept. He was not looking for this concept, but he found it on the way by wanting to know about glaciers. So as he couldn't find the answer, he went to a biology book, and there he found some information on mountains, on heights, on sea level, how that is measured, which mountains are higher, which one are lower, how high are the mountains around him where he lives. So he learned something on the topic of landscape, on geography. He was not looking for this information, and finally he was able to find something about the glacier and how it came to the glacier. So he was going into the history. So much knowledge has been gathered by him just by going on the journey of studying by having books around. So books should always be around children, and it is important that we also go and read books and not just go to the digital media, because otherwise children will not go to the books. Children are very much copying of what we are showing them and what we are doing, and that is what they will follow. So books are still very valid information for students to study. The second one, which came in especially in this 21st century, in the information century as it's also called, is the digital learning. There are so many games and video games and learning games around where children can learn colors, shapes and all of that. We cannot really deny the fact of this being around because it's a part of our life, and children constantly see us on our mobile phones and our computers. They see us working with these devices and they see us in our free time using it. So of course they also want to use it, as they always want to do what the parents are doing. They want to be involved with the things that the parents are involved. I highly recommend you in this regard that you look really carefully what kind of games, learning games, you hand to your child. That's one really important task. The second really important is the time. So how long, depending on the age of the child. In general, we would recommend that this comes in earliest at the age of 4 years, because at the age of 4 years, the brain of the child is already developed in such a way that it's easier for the children to understand. If you are interested in the development of the child so that you are also able to understand this part that we try to give to you here in this knowledge also and in methodologies, I highly recommend you to book our workshop on child development age 1 to 4, because there we really give you very precise information about the milestones and what the children should learn in what age. So it can also be kind of a help for you along the process so that you understand if your child is meeting the milestones and what milestones you should focus on. So when it comes to digital media, we recommend it earliest at the age of 4 and starting with 10 minutes. And it is important that we help children to understand that this is a learning tool. So I use my mobile phone only for work, for communication with other people. That if you want your child to use it as a working tool, as a method to gain knowledge, then we also have to show them by using it in the same way. Digital media will come in more and more the older the child gets, and there will be a lot available, so it is also kind of giving information to the child. The third one we also feel very important is life experience. When it comes to learning through life experience, it means that your child is really experiencing it. So it means that they are doing something, and by doing something they learn something. That could be that they are baking a cake and thereby they learn how much is 1 water, 250 milliliter, how much butter is needed, how many people are we, how to divide in the primary school age. In the younger age, they might do easy things where they have to count how many people, and they have just to give that many pieces out in a bowl so that everyone has an apple, a banana or something to eat at the snack. We should use this learning through life experience excessively, because it is one of the tools that will stick with the human being the most. Whatever we do, whatever we experience will stay with us. Whatever we repeatedly do will become a habit. It will become a tool. It will become a skill. So when you ask me, which one should you use? It's absolutely up to you, but our recommendation would be, in a TLI homeschooling program, we use all of them. So all of them are important, and they're coming from different perspectives, and they're really making a round understanding, harmonious understanding of the knowledge. So we would like to recommend you like this, that for preschoolers, about 60% should be focusing on the fact of learning through life experience. 30% should come by learning through books. And about 10% may come by learning through digital media. So that would give a lot of different tools that your child can use and learn from different angles and understand from a very different level. Children understand differently. We'll not speak about that today, but we'll make a different video on that so that you also can help your child understanding how your child learns the best. The third topic is teaching versus self-learning. Teaching versus self-learning. So what is better? I would say they are very different, and each child needs a different approach and a different set of timing. When it comes to the focus on teaching, then it is more about the adult giving information to the child. So when you focus on teaching your child more than the child is self-learning or self-studying, you need to understand certain points. Number one, are you understanding the content? Do you know what it is about? Do you also have to be very secure in what you give? how much time do you have available? Because it takes a lot of time to do, because you can't do anything else if you're teaching. And how will it impact your relationship with your child? So sometimes when parents become teachers, it's not very comfortable for children. Children become insecure and they don't know when is teaching time, when is private time. So parenting becomes kind of mixed up. You need to see how your child can handle that in case you go for teaching. So it's important that you have these three informations in your mind. Number one, are you understanding the content? Number two, do you have the time? Number three, how will it influence the relationship? Watch it carefully. If you see that it's not so good, think about a different idea. Some parents who are doing homeschooling, what they do is they have a teacher come in just for an hour every day or something to give some knowledge, or once a week. What you could do is you could have a teacher come in once a week, and on that day they are starting a topic. For example, they are speaking with the child about the tiger, where they live, they have a story, something around it. So make the child curious. They bring some material, some books, some different kind of equipment, and then they leave that with their child. And at the end of the week, on Friday, they come back and they conclude together with the child. So this would bring you out of the teacher position. So that could be one of the ways how you can do it. You could also do it like this, that you are doing it for a friend who is also doing homeschooling, and your friend is doing it with your child, so that you also don't have this teacher's idea and concept for your child. The second way is the self-learning, also the way of being an autodidact. So you still can have topics. You can decide with your child on the topic. So when children turn 3 and 4 years, of course, you can decide on the topics together. The time that you fix, they should be involved with this one topic, so that their brain is really focusing on getting more information and skills out of that topic. And then you can also be there of help for your child whenever they have a question, but in general, they are doing a lot on their own and studying on their own. If you use this process, you will be more free in your time. Your child will be more responsible on the part of learning, keeping the things in order and all of that. When it comes to self-learning, you can have a formal or an informal way. You can also decide with your child, this is the time I'd like you to do something connected with colors, but what your child can decide. So it's very much depending what kind of child you have in your family and what you're guiding along the way of growing up. Because each of us is very different, and depending on how we are, we feel more comfortable with one or the other methodology. So some children prefer to have someone telling them, please do this, do that, do this. And some children, they feel way more comfortable to have their own speed and decide on their own rhythm, their own methodologies. So till the age of 3.5 to 4, you have a role of guiding your child along the path and help them also how to self-learn, how to become an autodidact. And then when it's turning 4 or 5, they will go and more become responsible and understand, and will be really autodidacts in learning. Okay, these have been the 3 points. So please stay tuned. Don't forget to press the like button, but also share it with your friends and people you think will be interested. And when you click the notification button and you subscribe to the channel, then you will be automatically informed whenever we go online. It also would support our algorithm of YouTube so that people who are interested in that topic really find us easier. This is why I really ask you to press the subscribe button and the bell and stay tuned in the information. I hope it was useful for you. I'm looking forward to be with you again.